Hello and welcome to another session of Girl by Moonlight Divine Engines. This is our On a Sea of Stars campaign. We are in our second mission. Last time we did the sort of afterwards of that first mission, and then we did the phases that lead up to the second mission. We took some time to let it breathe and do some RP scenes and build up a little bit up on our mythology. I do know there's some people that watch this at home, and we are trying our best to be accurate with the rules. I hope you're enjoying this if you are watching. This session is part of Open Hearth Gaming, which is an online gaming club / community. You can find out more about that at openhearthgaming.com. We have an online gaming calendar that rolls and happens each month, and that we have patrons, and they can support at a certain level and get kind of a little bit of extra RSVP window access, but then it's open to anybody for those sessions. And as of this session, we are exactly 9 days away from Shared Hearth, which is our open gaming weekend that is online, it's free, and it happens next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's the 10th through the 12th of November. We still have a number of sessions with seats. I think over half the sessions are completely filled, but we still have a number of exciting things. We've got Monster of the Week. We've got Hearts of Wulin that had seats. We've got Old School Essentials. We've got Yabiza's Bed and Breakfast with seats. Like there's a lot of really good sessions on there. It's free, and I will also have a link in the show notes to that so that you can check that out, see what you think. Maybe find a game that you haven't had a chance to play, or if you haven't played online and you want to see what it is all about, this is a good way to dip your toes in without commitment. So, you can try it out, see what you think, and then go, yep, or not for me. So that is a thing. So last time, our four protagonists launched from their vessel, not the full launch of heading out to immediately take on a Leviathan, but instead the launch to head out to check on a mystery. We are in the Tyrfing system, Tyrfing, and where there ought to be a planet, Tyrfing 4, there is merely rubble. And where there ought to be a colony, there is only silence on Tyrfing 3. However, there is not the indications that the signs that you would normally get to say that there is a Leviathan here that has consumed a colony. Usually that's pretty obvious, but you have not seen that. Now, the trick is, of course, that Octavius has seen another version of this system from much later in his timeline with a very different setup. In his timeline, Tyrfing 4 was still there, but there was a more dangerous issue at hand with a hidden Leviathan, and this was the battle that cost Sia and forced the Bastion to expend a great deal of energy and resources to transport Octavius's mind into the past. And so Octavius is approaching this perhaps with a little more hesitation. We see the group coming down towards the planet. Let's paint our picture. We've seen in the distance the dome of the colony, but I think we're back to Tyler. Tyler, tell me what what the landscape of the planet is that we're flying over, that we're seeing in our engines?
I think that we have a swampy jungle planet. I
Okay.
think that it is remarkably lush and green, and it's kind of that green death sort of thing of if you get too far out, there are things, and the planet is hostile, but that it is a very living planet.
Absolutely. That kind of rich environmental death world that tempers and tests its people. Uh, and uh, Sia, and it is Sia and not Radiant this time. Uh, what else do you see as you travel over besides this rich green emerald jungle?
Hmm. Um, I think it's like very colorful weather patterns, lots of heavy fog clouds and stuff like that that are these like bright jewel colors.
Yeah, clouds that roll off the mountains, colored clouds with like maybe we see in the distance purple lightning crackling there. We spent some FX budget on that as you fly in, and I think there is that in Atmo flight of the engines where you're coming through the clouds and then you hit the rain and it's coming down on the view screens and stuff. A little like is it LV-24 whatever from Aliens, when you come down through the cloud line and you can see in the distance the dome and such. What are the signs of the faith that we see here? Uh, I think your name is Azamel, is it? I'm sorry, I meant to say Manon. Uh, what are the signs here that we see outside of the dome of the faith?
Think that one of the things is that um, for these places that are further away from one of the cathedrals, there are usually multiple cathedrals that like a cathedral we've built, and then there'll be colonies that are set around it. But the further away they are from it, the more these settlements tend to try to build a significant, like something that can be seen from above out in a place. And then this planet where there's just so much lush foliage and all of that stuff, all they can do is put things out over the bigger bodies of water. And so I do think that you see these sort of, it looks like probably the ships, the colony ships that they came down in. They've taken the outer hulls of those and burnished them to the brightest, like silvery outsides, and floated them out either in like a formation, and those are out in the water, like in a place there that's maybe as big as, I don't know, the Great Lakes, but like strung out through with, like just the jungle growing right up to its shores and encroaching in it with like smallish islands going out there. But in the center, there's just water, and that's where you see this formation. And they've used their colony, those colony ships that they had to build that.
Yeah, because of course the ritual signs and symbols are like circuits for the theocratic engine. So they building those into great metal runes and things like that has both a practical and a theological version to it. I've said dome a couple of times. What does that dome look like, Zavi? it's a big dome, but like, what do we see on screen?
Um, it's it has a lot of panels. It's not just like a dome, like it's not all one piece.
Like a geodesic kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But they're alternating. Like there's a transparent panel and then there's an opaque panel that's like a metal that sort of sticks out a little bit and overlaps it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I guess the opaque panels protect the connections between the panels, if that makes sense, like,
Mm-hmm,
like shingles. So you get, it looks almost scaly from a distance.
Okay. I like that very much. Manon, what are your orders here? You are the leader as you approach. You've got visual on this. I think you'll open up channels, and the only comms that seems to be going here, and the reason that the Bastion didn't pick it up because it's a very low local broadcast signal, is you will hear one of the long running sort of rondo choral chants, one of like the call to prayer, and then the ceremony, and it's somebody has set it on loop, and you can tell that it's just kind of going over and over again. Ome Domine, and then back, and layers of that kind of reverberation. It reminds you a little, and I think musically, if we were doing this as an anime, we would reference it, those songs from that Leviathan you fought last time.
Yes, well, that would be my home. So it also reminds me a little bit of my home, or does it sound wrong?
You tell me.
I think there's that sort of thing of, as we're coming in and we're doing the site checks for anything that suggests that people left the dome and those things, that it's playing, and there's that sort of start that of the prickle at the back of her neck, and then the hair is actually standing up as it continues on, and there's a sort of wrongness that builds up with each reiteration of it, because it is the call to prayer, but the prayer itself, the ceremony hasn't commenced, and it has this really weird feel of everything hung in place. Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think, at least for her, it is making her incredibly tense.
So what are your orders, Manon?
I think concentrate first on doing the scan, looking for the essentially the check for life out in the wild, and that specifically,
Do you want to do like a once around for people
Mhm.
doing checks and scans and things?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right.
So,
Then that feels like you want to make an analyze roll.
yes.
I believe last time you came in a controlled position, so
Yes.
you're not under immediate threat or anything right now. So we're still controlled, but I think this is low results because you don't have people to talk to. You're just going on instruments. You don't have a lot of readings from the planet. So let's have you roll analyze.
All right. Let's see
And
here.
again, to remind us, because this system works a little bit different from normal, you can push yourself for 2 or accept a poison promise. You can take 1 stress to give another player a extra die. You could, of course, lead a group action. You can set up a teammate. And then, of course, you can spend links. You or the link protag can recover 2 stress when you spend it. You can have them ignore a harm tag, and that's just ignore it. Or you can grant them a die to the ally's action. So
Okay.
1 die for analyze.
All right, here we go. It's a 3.
Okay. So I'm going to put a little clock here
Thanks.
on essentially bad tidings is how I'm going to call it. And I'm going to put a tick on that for you. So what is it you want to know? Like, what's the most important thing? And then I'm going to go around.
I think the thing of, is there any sign that people have left the colony, like tried to get out or travel out?
Just the opposite. It looks like you see that the vehicles that were on the outskirts colonies and things like that seem to have headed in towards the main dome, which is standard policy if there's what they would consider a serious emergency, a Leviathan sighting or other things. It does suggest that the colonists headed for that main dome. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yep, and I'll say, looks like they initiated standard emergency protocols. Let's see if we can find out what they were reacting to.
Zavi, we come to you. What are you doing? Information gathering, securing a location, something else? What do you think?
And we're here to gather information, so I think that's I think I'm circling around kind of at the edge of where the others, like I'm in sight of the others, but like trying to like extend any signals or any like sensors that I have.
Let's have you roll analyze.
All right, let's see. What's my analyze? Oh, I have a whole one. Excellent. And that's a 6.
So what is it you want to know?
Look at my gather information list here. Oh wow. What is the most dangerous here?
Like, there ought to be automated signals. There ought to be something coming from the dome itself. There's no sign of attack out here.
Mm-hmm.
So you're very wary of that dome right now about what's happened in there, what's going on. It seems to be the center point of that. I do think the other thing you will kind of realize is that the destruction of Tierfing 4, like, that's going to have some impact on the gravimetrics here. And that the weather patterns that you're seeing coming in may be a result of that. And you may be looking at potentially a hurricane level storm rolling down here in the next hour.
Oh, good. Yeah, I will definitely relay that information.
Octavius.
Yeah.
And again, are you carrying Sia?
No, the decision was made that maybe having Sia with Charon was not the greatest idea.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I'd forgotten that. Let me just drink my tea here for a moment.
Yeah. I think I'm going to kind of approach in a bit lower.
Okay.
And Sharon, the call to prayer is going on. but no response. Are you feeling anything inside there? Are we? This place reeks of death to me.
Look at the. You are in Karen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It will say. Let me have you roll.
Analyze, you think? Or
Yeah, I think analyze is good. You got 2 dots in that, so let's go with
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Out of 5.
Got a 5. There's something wrong here. Certainly a death that one can smell around this place versus the life of this jungle. But whatever happened here is not a good death.
I have to think I'm agreeing with you. Let's just make circuit along pretty low around the perimeter. And I think that's where I'll just do a circuit around the perimeter.
And I think as you make that circuit, you'll see the doors and entryways. The only thing being is that none of these are big enough for your engines to get through to get inside. You are definitely going to have to dismount if you want to go inside.
And the doors are closed. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I'll report that back to the squad. And man, and everything seems locked up, but Sharon and I both have a bad feeling about what's inside there.
Say, all right. Sia, do you have your equipment ready?
I've got everything I need.
All right. I think we're going to make our initial landing. And I'll set the coordinates down. I'm probably fairly close to where Tav is right now.
Okay. And we'll assume that the team can land and dismount from your engines. That rain starting to come down, the sound of thunder in the distance. Sia, these doors, these great doors are locked here. Feels like you may be the person to get them in without blasting, right? Or is there something else you want to do first?
No, this works for what I was thinking, because I was thinking that, all of our technology, and especially us being from the flagship, we must have some sort of passive communication between the computer systems of oh, I recognize you, here's recent information, let's catch up stuff. So I think there would be command codes we would have from being from the flagship that could open up these systems to us.
Okay.
Should, at least.
Absolutely. So what do you think that feels like? Is that you with flow? Or something else? Perceive?
Maybe analyze?
Sure. Let's have you roll that die.
What might be a poison promise on this?
I think a poison promise is that the module that you've had to get out of and to be set down on Well, this planet is much swampier and marshier than you would have expected, and I think it will start to sink. You will be able to get out with your stuff, but like you're out of it and looking around, and you look back and you see that module sinking.
My tools.
Do you want that promise?
Yeah. I mean, we've got other ships, right?
Roll. Take your extra die. As you will see, essentially that portable transport starts sinking below the mud and muck.
It's a 4.
So I think it takes you a little bit longer than you would have liked. And I think by the time that thing has kind of gotten firmly lodged in the muck, you will get the code through. There clearly was like some emergency protocol that was up that delayed things, but you will see those doors open. And you can see there's the dim flicker of emergency lights throughout this domed city. And the four of you can proceed forward.
These systems are in some sort of emergency cycle. I don't know what might be working or shut down right now.
You can run a diagnostic. And I think gather up the pilots. And I sort of turn to Sia and say, would you rather stay with, and she kind of looks back at your transport, and she goes, would you rather stay back with my engine?
I feel like we don't know what the systems are going to be like inside this place. You might need my help.
Yes. And I think she looks at Octavius at this moment, and she goes, we very well may.
Let's
Why
just
don't
make
you
sure we stay close, everybody.
Thank
Well,
you.
things seem pretty calm in here. I mean, it's just. Hopefully, it's just some weird power outage.
I think as you walk in and start moving around, you'll definitely see there clearly seems to be some kind of, maybe it was another storm before, some environmental leakage. They may have gotten hit by a hurricane like the one that rolled in before, and there's definitely signs of like water on the floor and maybe some wind damage around. And that kind of thing. So the environmental systems seem to have taken some kind of hit here as you move through. Manon, let me ask you this: like, are you staying together? Are you spreading? Okay, staying together.
Yeah,
Are you proceeding like trying to be stealthy? Are you proceeding to give yourself more visibility? What do you think?
I think that we start out with a stealthy thing, checking for any signs of movement or activity or reaction to us as we move. And then essentially it's very much a, sort of a leapfrog thing where, one moves forward, then the person behind them goes forward, and then the person behind them, and we're kind of very carefully, but we're going quadrant by, like quadrant by quadrant.
Then what I want actually is I would like you to lead a group action with Flo.
Okay. That sounds
to manage
awesome.
the team movement here. Does that seem fair?
Yes, it does.
So Sia, can you roll Flo for me?
Yes. That's a 2.
That's a 2, so that's 1 stress.
I have a lot of tools.
Zavi, can you roll flow for me?
That's a 1.
It's another stress. Octavius?
Yep. 4.
Okay, mixed. And 2 dice from you, Manon. You're marking 2 stress, and you're rolling for yourself.
1 and a 2.
Okay. So the group of you are moving along here, passing through. There's the splash of water from time to time, and kind of looking around, and a weird feeling. And then you will hear a sound that you recognize as a security robot, and it comes clattering up towards you. It's like a long mechanical centipede. It's modular so that it can move and climb on things. It's probably about 20 feet long. It's got a variety of legs with different attachment modules. And I think, Sia, you'll immediately see that its threat assessor array, the thing that would allow it to determine standard foe from friend, is broken. And it comes rushing towards you. The sound of it rolling along, and it's like a freight train coming at you. Zavi, what do you do? And the mixed success is that I didn't have you resist it like smashing into you from above. So that's just you get a chance to do things before it comes.
Is there anything around that I could throw and like distract it?
Oh, so you want to try and draw its attention off to essentially give the others room. So that feels like you're maybe setting up a teammate.
Yeah, that's
okay.
good.
Yeah. So tell me what it is you grab to do that with.
What would be here? Oh. Basically a Roomba
Okay.
that's here to clean up all of the water everywhere, but clearly it's dead.
Yeah. So you grab one of these scrub bots and fling it like a discus.
Yep.
Absolutely. What do you want to roll that with?
I'd like to say anything but flow, but it's flow.
Okay.
And
you want
I
to
rolled snake eyes.
So you will grab onto this thing and you will go to fling it. And even as you do, you realize that as you pick this thing up, it woke up and it also has some sensor problems, and it grabs onto your hand and starts essentially the matter destruction stuff to clean things up. And I think that you we're in a control position. So I think you're going to take a light wound there.
Okay. Oh man.
Oh, well, look at all that stress you have marked.
Yeah. Which is worse? Wait, what happens with a light wound? That's
Less effect.
less effect. And we already don't have. Okay, I'm gonna resist that.
Okay.
And I resist it with the same.
Yeah, so I think you'd resist it with stars. That feels right to me.
Okay. Gives me 1 whole die. And I rolled a 1 yet again.
So you're going to be close to eclipse.
I think I'm over eclipse.
I think I thought that you went to the edge, and then if you get one
Oh, that would
more,
work.
let me
Either way.
check and see here real quick, because
Yeah,
this is the first time
there's-
we've hit this. So
Once you get up to the edge, that you start making rolls to see whether you fall over into eclipse.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So let's look at that. 57, 58. Okay. Reach the limits of their stress track, they risk falling in. When you reach or exceed your stress limit, you roll for eclipse using your lowest attribute.
Okay.
So let's have you roll.
Okay, that's another 1 die. 2.
So you are in eclipse.
Oh, excellent.
So when you fall into eclipse, read the prompt out loud, including the escape clause. This will help everyone at the table understand your sudden shift in behavior and remind them how they can help your character escape eclipse. Hey, you know what? I remember Patrick asked for this as a wish for last time.
Yep. Your wish is granted,
Not
Patrick.
Huzzah!
this specifically.
So read us that prompt.
Yeah. When you eclipse, you're not who they need you to be. You're weak, useless, unworthy of their friendship. They have given you so much to you, and in return, you give them nothing. You throw yourself into danger, desperately seeking any way you might possibly be of use. You escape eclipse only when someone engages you in a dialogue about your feelings and shows you they have felt the same. Okay, cool.
So you tear that thing off, you escape the thing, but like you've got a sudden fight or flight kind of mental
Right,
reflexes
yeah,
are off, and
yeah.
this giant thing is coming.
Like,
And the weird thing with eclipse is now anytime you would take stress, you instead start unticking your boxes down towards the bottom again.
okay.
Anytime you would heal stress, it ticks it back up towards the top. And if
Okay.
you work your way all the way back down to the bottom of the track, that's when the character death moments sort of thing is.
Okay.
Yes, we will track
But
that.
until then, you're just in this like fluxing back and forth with stress.
Okay.
Yes. So for example, if someone spends to recover you to recover stress, then you would add ticks back if you had lost any. So
I see. Okay.
Octavius, you see Zavi attempt this, and it goes horribly wrong, but you've still got this thing barreling down on you. What kind of weapons do you think you guys have in hand? Gear isn't a thing in the game, so tell me what you're armed with.
I think like the standard package is you're gonna have some sort of sidearm and probably some sort of, I mean, it's it's the sort of game that you definitely have some sort of bladed weapon. I mean, those
absolutely.
are cool. But I don't even probably be up to Manning if we rolled out with like assault, like with a rifle. But I imagine we have like a sidearm pistol type thing.
Okay, pistol, some kind of specialty blade. What do you want to do?
Okay, so this thing's coming at us.
It's a little higher scale than you all. So right now, standard stuff is going to be less effect against it.
Okay, well, then I think that I'm going to we can see that they've been damaged in some way. That's what we've been told.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's what Sia realized. Is that it's been damaged, and clearly it identifies you as a threat.
Identifies us as a threat.
Probably identifies anything as a threat right now.
That's probably true. So I think I'm trying to look down real quick on what these stats, the difference in some of them just real quick. Because analyze is different than perceive. Perceive is a percentage of dark, strange. Okay. I don't know if I'm good enough at that. I think I'm going to take a shot at it.
Absolutely. What do you want to roll that with?
That sounds like defy.
Yeah, that does feel like the defy there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to push yourself? Do you want to spend a link?
I can't spend links on myself, can I? But somebody has to spend links on me.
I can spend a link for you, and I definitely would.
Okay.
Okay.
So 2 dice.
2 dice.
So right now, low effect, risky position.
All right. Yeek. I got a 5.
Got a 5. So I think you will move, take those shots along on it. And I do think this thing has been damaged, so I do think you do a little more damage to it. But I think it whips around and is gonna knock you into a wall for a light wound. Gonna hit you into there. You gonna take that?
Oh, it's so early to transcend. Oh,
You can always spend to recover from stress and then roll to resist.
I can't spend for myself. Somebody have to spend for me.
You or a linked pro tag recover to stress. You can spend to recover the stress for yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll spend my Zavi. It's my only link. We really did not link up well. And give myself back to stress.
Okay.
Drop that link, and
roll,
then I will
roll to resist with. I'm going to let you roll with stars because
Oh,
that's where
thank
flow
you.
is at. I'll let you do that.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I regret
I got
it
a
now.
5.
Okay. So mark 1 stress.
Boink.
Yeah, smashes. You kind of roll with it as you hit against it. This thing is taking a little bit of damage. I'm going to mark its little track here. But that's still just a tick on it. See ya.
Yeah, I think Sia, instead of sidearms or a sword, has had his like scanner like connection pad out, trying to like analyze this thing, and now he's like hooked in on a frequency he thinks, and it's damaged. So now he starts like pressing buttons, and the thing is like shining out this green light as he's yelling, "Unit damaged, enter maintenance mode. Unit damaged, enter maintenance mode."
What do you want to roll that with?
Express, maybe? That's
I
sort
like
of
that.
like
Yeah.
hacking, but machine stuff.
Use words with an agenda in mind. All right. Roll me a die.
What might be a poison promise on that?
What may be a poison promise on this?
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think a poison promise is you absolutely, to get closer to it, you have to push Zavi aside rudely and knock him down.
No.
Oh, not going for the cosmetic. Okay.
Well, if you're going to be polite, then I will spend my one and only link I have with you. How about that? It's a kind of
Thank you.
poison promise of its own, because that's the only one I have.
Roll 2 dice.
It's 3s. Together they're a 6.
You try to do it, but you're unable to get a hold of it. It but I think that signal links up to it, and I think it swoops down and grabs you up. And Sia, you are caught in its mandibles right now, trapped, and it's getting ready to move another pair of mandibles up to start slicing. Would you like to resist that? Or are you good being in the mandibles of a giant mechanical centipede guard?
No, I think it's sort of dramatic to be caught up and in peril and,
Okay.
fulfilling all of Tav's worst nightmares.
Absolutely. Manon, team
let's see.
leader, Manon.
I know. What a team. Okay, so I think I do have the ability, how dare you, when you strike back against something that has harmed one of your friends, gain +1 effect. Would they be considered harmed? They've been certainly humiliated and pushed around.
That would be if you were
Yeah.
transcended.
Oh, that's
You are not.
right. I'm not.
You do have watchful. If you want
I
to roll back and take that consequence for Sia, you could also do that.
Take the consequence.
Yeah, you can
Oh.
protect an ally. You get an extra die to your resistance roll.
Okay. Yeah, that's like
to,
a bargain.
to knock him out of the way. If Patrick would be okay with that, we should check in on him before that.
No, I'm also okay with that.
Okay,
Sia
then we will do
turn
it
around directly towards Ben and be like, "I think it's working. I figured out the code." As this thing is looming behind him.
Okay, and
That would be,
like it goes to grab him, and he is grabbed up, and then I'm just going to hit it, and where the rest of them all have these
this
sort
is
of
not an
bladed
action.
weapons.
This is before you take your action. This is
Okay.
you actually will roll protect. You roll that with stars.
Oh, okay.
+1 die is 3 dice, and then we'll have you do your action.
Yeah. Well, we know how we're rolling, so this could be very, very circus-like.
That's what I'm hoping for.
3/4.
So
mediocrity to the max.
You take 2 stress, but you'll push Sia out of the way. And then what do you do, Manon?
I think, yeah, and I think this is it is whereas the rest of the group all has bladed weapons, like, essentially probably some sort of power blades or something like that. She has a what is the best way to describe it? A scepter of sorts. And it looks like the thing that the priests carry during the ceremonies where they do the blessings and all of that stuff, except that of course it has it's got the glowing power thing at the end of it. So, and essentially she's just going to go blunt force on its arms, if that makes any sense.
What do you want to roll this attack with? What do you think is appropriate?
Unfortunately, I can't roll flow, which is my strongest one, so it would be defy.
Okay.
Just because flow is for moving around gracefully, and this is actually hitting it, so it's a 1D attack.
Yeah.
I will gladly help you out with that for having saved me.
Oh, thank you. That sounds great.
So 2d6.
All right, 2d6. Oh yeah, 2 and a 3, because consistency is what I do best. Wow.
Who gave you this staff?
What a good question. I think just to think of when she's swinging it, it's actually a question like she goes, "When did I get this staff?" And she cannot remember.
Yeah. But I do
Like
think you have a
she's
flashback.
had it for so long.
So long. It's one of the last pieces you have from your home world. And it shatters against the side of this thing. Do you want to resist that consequence?
No. I think that what you get is it shattering, and in her head, like as she's trying to remember, the kind of things that she can remember are sort of falling apart in almost a similar cascade. Like if that makes any sense.
Perfect. I think we see that. I think we see an image of the centipede, right, looming up above all of you. We get the shot from behind of all of you looking up at it, and then we go to commercial break and we take our first break. We will come back with Zavi when we come back. Zavi, kind of still shaking from that hit and that pressure. What do we see you do?
Okay, let me make sure I have the situation down here. The robot does or does not currently have Sia in its mandibles.
Does not. Manon got Sia away from there.
Okay.
Right now it's Manon having pulled Sia away, and then Manon turning and trying to hit this thing and breaking her weapon on it. Octavius has landed a shot on this thing, but has failed to completely pierce its steely hide.
Okay. Dramatically, I could do something dramatically stupid here, or I could just shoot it. And I think I'm gonna lean toward just shooting it.
Okay. Are you running foolishly into danger here?
No, I think I'm just shooting it. Like, I'm not doing anything more foolish than anyone else is. This may lead to running foolishly into danger, but I can't think of any reason not to shoot it when we've established that we have sidearms.
Okay.
This thing,
absolutely. So they won't quite have noticed yet then how reckless you are about to become. All right. So that's Defy, I think we've established.
Okay, yep. Good. I actually get a whole die for that one. And I still failed, but I took a whole die for it.
And I think one of those you get it raised up, and like this thing turns and fires off a beam, and your weapon shatters in your hand, and your sidearm is gone. Unless you'd like to resist.
Yeah, that's
you still have your electro
I still
blade.
have my really dumb bladed weapon that I don't want to ever get close enough to use. Yeah. Like, why the hell did they give us these stupid things? Why didn't I just get two guns? This is the thought. This is actually the thought I had when they gave it to me.
Right.
And it's like you hear an echo of it now. No, I'm not gonna resist.
So the gun is gone. Okay. Octavius, you see that. You see Zavi's gun get blasted out of his hands.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try something, I suppose.
Okay.
These stats still kind of bewildered me slightly. I haven't quite got them all grokked, but I think I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
I am going to attempt to, while it's, shooting and trying to grab and all of that, I'm going to make an attempt to flank and get behind it without it noticing.
Okay. So what is your what is the end goal here? Are you trying to
I'm trying to set myself trying to set myself up to get a good strike. But I suppose maybe I guess it'd be set
that would
someone
be so you can assist someone else as an action, or if you're setting yourself up, that's really you pushing yourself. So you would spend 2 stress and get that extra die, and we would use that move around as kind of fictional positioning.
Okay.
Bless you.
Well then, yeah, let's try and set somebody up then. I think that's probably my best bet. So I'm still going to do that flanking, but when I get around behind, I'm going to, take a pop shot,
Absolutely.
something to attract its attention.
Absolutely.
So it turns to me.
And if you do this successfully, I think given the way you're defining this, any team members that follow up on this are going to get an additional effect level. It's not like for X person, it's for any team members. So That feels like analyze.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of reading the situation, feels like to me, right?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because if my previous would have been flow, but yeah, this seems like you're right. I think that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Are you
right.
going to push yourself?
No, I don't think so.
Fair enough.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's needed at this point. Probably is needed, but I'm already screwed for stress. There's a 4.
So that is successful, but I'm going to put another tick on bad tidings. Things get darker. But yeah, you and draw it attention. Sia, you and Mana together. See Mana kind of step back with this broken weapon in her hand, but you see Octavius rush around, draw its attention, and essentially keep its threat sensors focused squarely on him. So anything you do will have standard effect.
I don't know. Is there some sort of like computer thing I could try and interface with to?
Oh, sure. Do you think you do that at range? Do you pull out another piece of gear? Do you go to one of the panels that is by here? Do you run up at it? Like, what do you think?
Um, I think there's a panel here that's probably flashing as part of their emergency thing that's going on right now.
Absolutely.
Um,
So run over to that.
yeah, and I'm trying to I'm trying to get at the emergency alarm itself. If there's not an emergency alarm going off, maybe this thing won't be in fight mode. That sort of idea.
Perfect. Risky standard effect with analyze.
Analyze, yeah.
Let's have you roll that die.
Let's see. It's that's a 1.
All right. I think you will get at it and you will realize that someone has locked the alarms. Like there's no turning the threat down on this thing. So I'm going to put 2 ticks on bad tidings.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah.
All right, Manon. You've still got an open shot that Octavius. What how do you what do you say to Manon?
This whole system, it's like someone set the alarms, then just fried it open.
Like they did with the security bot. So I have this big sparking handle. Used to have a mace.
Uh-huh.
Can I turn it around and use it like a spear?
100%. So, what do you want to do that with? How do you want to? Is there some way you can lean into flow here?
So it means doing something graceful. So I think that the thing to do is see if I can sort of hop on top of this thing, run down its spine, and drive it into a place where I can see the panels open on one of these security boxes,
Yeah.
whatever these are.
So you're rolling 2 dice.
Okay.
Risky standard.
Um,
You know,
Yes. Let's see here. Okay.
you could always push
Okay.
yourself.
I could, and then that would put me,
3 dice.
it would make me crazy. I can fail on 3 dice really well though. So I got
Would you
that.
like me to spend a link to do something here? I don't know.
I only have links with Tav.
I have
Oh.
links.
Oh,
Zavi can
sure.
always
Would you like me
those
to spend
links.
a link? Is what I was asking.
Oh, sure.
Okay, cool.
So 3
Because
dice.
I can spend any link on any person's.
Oh, wow. That's nice. When I grow up, I want to be just like Zabi. But okay, so I'm going to roll 3d6. For other people, this would be a moment of triumph. Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 5.
So
Very standard
I
to me.
think you will drive this into the spine of this thing, and there will be a zap on there, and you will absolutely break this thing. But I'm going to tick that bad tidings clock forward by 1.
What do I have to do to keep you from doing that?
You have to resist.
All right. I'm gonna
Do
resist.
you want to resist?
I want to resist.
All right. Well, you did that with Flo, so why don't you roll 2d6 to resist?
I rolled a
Oh,
6.
damn it.
You hear the little choir. Whoa!
And this thing will come crashing down. And I think we will cut to all of you gathered together. Zavi, how does the audience know that something is wrong with you?
I think there are echoes of that first conversation with Charon. We're all here to die.
Absolutely. And we will see the group of you moving through here, heading towards the center here. And as you get towards the center of this place, it's actually more water on the ground here. And you will move forward until you're at the area with the computer cathedral, and you will see that someone or something has torn out all the computer banks. All of those hyper-dimensional linkages and things, all of those are gone. And you will see out front is the reflecting pool that you have, like at Washington, D.C., imagine that kind of thing out there. And you'll realize as you're kind of moving through here that there is a weird quality to this water. And you will see at the far end of that reflecting pool is a figure. They are maybe 7, 8 feet tall, you would guess. The silhouette here, they're kind of misshapen. It's hard to tell in the lights that you have here. They certainly have legs and 2 arms, but almost see like their body is writhing a little. It's very Akira-esque in some ways, that kind of shifting body thing. What do you do?
That's the threat.
Why don't you make a roll for me?
Okay. That's analyze.
Sounds
Yes.
good.
And then I have a +1 to anticipate possible threats.
You
So
have +1 effect level.
effect level. Okay.
Okay.
All right, great. That sounds good. Let's see here then. It's 1d6 though.
Yep.
So,
Gather info.
And I can spend a link with you to help you on that.
thank you. I
Two
would love
dice.
to know what's going on.
I would too.
I got a 4.
So what's your first question, Manon?
Well,
And you can take a look at your gather information list.
yeah. Well, what's most dangerous here?
Did we fix the questions for people's playbooks?
We did. That
Okay.
actually is a question for the
Okay.
Guardian.
Well, that thing is the most dangerous thing here, far and away. You definitely can feel this thing is at the nexus of this. What's your second question?
Are these the only questions I can ask? Or are these just suggestions?
These are technically, according to the rules, the only ones you can ask. You feel free to kind of work with them a little. Massage them. Do you want answers?
What?
What's going on here? Where the people
That
are?
is what I want to know. So that's the thing, but none
Sure.
of my questions are like that. So
Why don't you ask me who here is hurting?
who here is hurting?
Well, the populace that you've been walking through, that have been liquefied, all of them, their souls trapped in this watery ectoplasm that you have been striding through since you first came in. Their bodies broken down to provide some kind of mass, but their souls not allowed to move on, stuck in a hypergeometric matrix of this liquid.
And I said, I think we're going to back out and blow this place up. And she sort of, like, as she's looking like that, she goes, you should go.
And you
Could
see
be
that
worse.
figure turn and start coming this way.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do, Octavius, when it calls out your name? Octavius. Old, it sounds old, ancient, 1,000 lifetimes of this thing, and it says your name with venom.
Can I tell anything of it or see anything of it?
Sure. In fact, I'll let you get an extra die for your oracle with this.
All right.
So analyze or
Alrighty.
perceive.
Let's do analyze. I think I'm more interested in the thing behind it than the actual
Sure.
physical. All right. Oh, 1, 2, 3.
I want you to mark a level 2 harm. So that's 2 level 1s, but it's a level 2 harm. You can reduce that down as you realize what this thing is. Because when you came to this timeline, you had to force out the Tav from this timeline. and it was cast into the void for 1,000 lifetimes,
Oh.
and it broke back through. And it broke a world when it came back.
Oh, that's terrible. All right. I think I transcend.
Okay. So you still need to do the resist.
I'll spend an armor to drop it down by 1.
Okay. So what level 1 harm?
That gives me a level 1 harm, and I could roll to resist still.
Yes, you could. Could roll sun.
Okay.
Resist.
That's okay. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Roll me a die.
6.
Look at you holding
Woo!
on against
Oh.
this thing. What do you say to the others? And then I want you to describe what your transcendence looks like outside of the thing.
I have to put him to rest. I have to. And I think that you're seeing as this there's this bright white glow. It sort of starts at my feet, and as it rises up, I kind of begin coding in that, it's all monochromatic black and white armor that surrounds me. We've got that kind of like lining, demonic, almost a little bit face that's in my chest. And as I transform, it sort of opens its mouth and roars. There's the swirl around me.
As this thing charges, you will see this black and white overwhelm it and start running down it. And you will see this twisted lion face form on its chest as it gets larger, as it starts picking up speed and running at Octavius. Radiant / Sia, what do you do? And then we're going to come to Zavi.
I think this is probably too much for Sia.
Okay.
There was the horrible attack robot that we barely lived through, but now there's this weird melting man, and we're standing in a sea full of people, like Soylent Blue is people. So he is just like I think scrabbling and trying to run far enough away down a like around a corner or something to where he can pant and start begging for Radiant to help him.
Does Radiant help him?
Yeah, I think he says I was wrong. I thought I could handle this. I thought this would be safe, but it's not safe. Everything's falling apart. I need your help. I can't do this.
I think you'll feel those hands on your shoulder. Forgiving as you transform. We'll have you pop up in a second. Let me get Zavi's action, and then I want to have you pop up, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Zavi, you see this thing getting bigger as it runs towards Octavius. You see Octavius transitioning, changing, transforming, moving full into that transcendent state.
Yeah. Is this being connected to the reflecting pool at all?
It's standing in it, it's running through it.
Cool. Yeah, I would take that. I would like to take that otherwise completely useless energy weapon and like overcharge it or whatever, and like just like put it down flat in the water.
That's really dangerous to you. I mean, you could do it.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Okay. Absolutely. The consequence certainly is that you're going to take a hit from the charge up on this. What do you want to roll that with?
I think that's probably defy.
Okay.
This is not a smart move. This is not analyzed.
So this is low effect. risky
Okay.
at
So
the
my question is,
moment.
can I push myself while in eclipse?
Absolutely. You can push
Cool.
yourself, just take
Okay.
2 ticks off of that eclipse.
I would like to do that.
Absolutely. Tick that countdown clock
Oops,
down.
wait. Okay. 2. I need to roll 2, not 1. I just rolled again.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So I got a 1 and a 6. I'm real glad I
got a
Okay.
1 and a
pushed
6.
myself.
Nice.
So I think that shock will like it will kind of step back, like it does certainly stop its forward motion, giving you time to all get set. I do think you are kind of thrown back a little bit by that. Man, and you'll see this.
I saw it, and I saw it like as it was starting to happen, and I was running towards Zavi to push them away, and then somehow Zavi miraculously gets it in the pool without killing themselves, and she sort of stops, like comes up very short, right
Okay.
next to Zavi, if that makes any sense.
Perfect. Let's bring Radiant in, then we'll have Manon's action, and then we'll come to Tav. Radiant, how do you make your appearance?
I think there's this like increasing glow in the water behind the broken Octavius, that like bursts up out of it as Radiant is there, glowing and shifting symbols and like skulls and necromantic things all over his chest, as he's floating a couple of inches above the water, and you, twisted thing, do not belong here. You have brought nothing but pain and suffering to this world. You have made everything here worse by your presence in it, and you should go.
The head twists around and says, "It was all for you." What do you do, Radiant?
Um,
How are you attacking?
yeah, I think he's like trying to hold this thing and keep its attention away from the others.
Oh, so that feels like maybe you're doing a set up a teammate.
Yes.
Okay. Express to do that.
Sure, I will take that.
Okay. So let's have you roll express for that.
That's 5.
And it's a 5. I think there is something about the way it's talking, the way it's speaking, that is going to shake you a little to your core. Let's say level 1 kind of psychic harm as the face turns and says this to you, but just level 1. And you have set up your following teammates.
Nice.
Are you? Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
You could always resist that wound if you want.
I know, but it seems appropriate.
Okay. Manon and then Octavius. And feel free, if you want to have Octavius go first, you can also do that.
I think I want to, like, okay, there's one setup. Can I put another setup on the field? Because I think that essentially, like, kind of a setup for a 1-2 punch, essentially.
You could do that and then give improved position.
Okay, that's what I will do. And I think what it is that all of this is happening in darkness and kind of these blue glows and everything, but it's Manon who steps forward with a sort of angel wing flare of brightest bright light. But she has this super control over the light. So whereas she has this beam going right into this monster's face, it is not affecting her teammates. It is it is like, it is a celestial beam, and it's like it comes from like her face, but really like a halo almost sense of thing there. But
Sure.
it has this weird beam thing to it.
What do you want to roll that with?
Oh gosh, that's a great idea, thing. Let's see, what would that be? It's a kind of protective thing, so it would probably be, why, I don't know why I'm looking at Sia's sheet instead of my own. That's gonna just really messing me up here. Probably Defy fits better than Flow.
Okay.
Except that I would like I don't know, it's part of the fight, right? So it could be Flow too, where you're reading it as part of the fight.
This is
to
Force
give
in the
it-
Dark. You always get final say on that.
Let's say that what it is I'm trying to take control of the flow of the fight.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going.
So go roll me 3 dice then.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna try it.
Look at that.
6.
6. Octavius. Improved effect. Improved position. It is on you. This relates to your key thing. So you're going to get, oh no, that's a timeline thing. We get the extra die. So you don't get that. What do you want to do?
Okay. I am rushing forward towards him. I've drawn no weapon.
Okay.
As I flow across this, and I think there's this almost moving quick enough that I'm kind of dancing across the top of the water towards him. And I'm going to come straight up to him. And as I get close, I'm going to say, you would have done the same thing. And I in a way, I think I'm either attacking there with confess, or I'm trying to.
I think that you've described the flow. I think you have, this is a physical thing. You have to break this thing.
Okay.
So that's 2 dice. You've got better position, better effect. Do you want to push yourself? Do you want to poison promise?
I want to push myself.
And I can
Okay.
give you a
Thank you.
dice. Oh, sorry. Okay, so yeah, dice from everywhere.
Okay.
Okay.
So push yourself for an extra die. That's 3. Zavi spends a link. That's 4. Do you want to poison promise?
No, I don't want to poison promise.
Okay.
I fear it.
Oh yeah, you should.
In this situation, it seems bad. But since I am pushing myself, I am going to use my on the other side of time to kind of envelop he and I out of the flow of time as it is normally, to see if I can shove him back through or finish what he's doing here.
Absolutely. Let's have you roll those 4 dice.
All right. Oh, me. Roll it. A 5.
So you will shatter into this thing. And it will grab onto your arm as you do that. As you shatter the flow of time and you throw him back into the void. And he takes your arm with him. And even as you, that sort of words that you said, you would have done the same. He says, you didn't even ask.
Oh.
Do you want to resist the arm loss?
I might, just because I wouldn't mind. An eclipse seems appropriate for the moment. So if I roll, I'm going to try and resist.
Roll with stars. You will resist. It's just a question of how bad it hurts.
Right. So with stars. That's two.
So you will
Got
take
4.
2 stress. You feel that
Ooh.
arm start to give way. I think there's a stretching there as it started to pull the void. Wrench it back, and he screams as he falls. And he says, "I'm not done."
I'm so sorry.
And he's gone, everybody. And you hear the sound of thunder and the sound of the rain starting to lash against the dome outside and the crackle
Can
of
we
thunder.
free these souls?
Sure.
Yes, okay.
No, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I do think that his being gone will let go. You'll see like a transubstantiation of those, and Zavi, Octavius, Radiant, man, and you'll feel those souls go up and out into the hypergeometry of the universe itself as they're released.
What was that creature? It felt unnatural, like something that had leached its way into this world.
A demon
Don't
from
they all?
outside the flow of time.
Someone who was lost. Sadly.
This is more than lost. What sort of creature could kill an entire world behind it just to fulfill its own whims?
I think you'll see Tab like turn away and roll inner conflict.
Man, and Radiant's here.
And I'll say, oh, good. Good. So you flew down. How did you find us?
I followed a distress beacon. Your mechanic seemed worried about what was going on.
Oh, Sia, where's Sia? Oh my gosh.
He is
and
safe. Do not worry about Sia.
are you gonna take Sia back?
It is all taken care of. We must find what we can of this world. Is there anyone left to save?
We will look around to see if there is anyone left to save. Oh, and the other
Oh,
thing.
let's start. So maybe pause before you go on.
Okay.
Roll me a d6.
Oh God, Lord. Why are you having me roll this? Because it's going to be the most tragical of rolls. 4.
I think that you will go out. You'll gather yourselves together. Sia, do you kind of swap for a Radiant at some point?
No, I'm gonna stick his radiant for a moment.
All right. I think you'll come back, and I think when you get back to the engines, you will see that there are a set of kids who have clearly come out of the jungle and are kind of taking shelter under the engines.
I cross over to them and I say, are there others out there? Just you?
We are the only ones that survived the jungle. We were on a school trip. Our teacher protected us as long as he could.
Well, let's go then. We're going to go up to the flagship. And I guess we're going to have to haul that transport out of the water.
Yeah, I think there's that.
Have we? So pool of water. We haven't solved that.
No, you solved it just a minute ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, that is
yeah,
Saul.
yeah,
They
yeah,
are.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Souls are freed.
freed. Okay, cool.
However, by the time you get back to like Radiant is still there, but you don't see Sia anywhere, Tav.
Radiant, you said that Sia was fine. Where is Sia?
I have returned him to the flagship.
Where is your engine?
How the hell did you do that?
We have more important things to worry. Look at these children.
Uh, that's very strange.
But you do have these kids. This hurricane is coming in. You all need to get this thing out. Zavi, I think you're the one who's most like practical in some ways. I imagine that you have like, what's your secret for getting this thing out of the muck?
I mean, the most practical thing, it's basically a tow cable. It's a harpoon is what it is.
Okay.
Pull that out of there, out of the muck. The rain starts to wash it away. You get it open, load the kids in. Radiant, do
Yeah,
you
at that
go
point,
with
I look around at Radiant. I'm like, oh, you gave Sia your engine? Get in.
Thank you. I will ride with you to help protect these children.
Well, you are a good light source anyway.
And Radiant, you'll load into there. Manon, you'll load up. Octavius, I think you're still a little itchy about this, but more important things to deal with. And we'll see all of you launch off back towards the ship. And I think that's the end of the mission.
Immediately on getting back, we'll try to send a message to Sia to make sure they're here.
I imagine that when you get back, since Radiant and Sia can swap pretty much instantly, I think like Radiant is gone and Sia's on the flight deck right away, or something, or is that, how's that happen, Radiant?
Yeah, I think I don't really have good. Yeah. I think like as Zavi is pulling in and like docking his engine, there's a thing of like he turns around to ask Sia about, and Sia's just gone.
Radiant, right?
Radiant.
I mean, yes, rather.
So let's look at the end of the mission phase here. At the end of a mission, during Fallout, we're going to reset this. So we did the engagement roll, we did the cut to the action, the heart of the matter, and Fallout. In Fallout phase, we see the consequences, marks the end of the episode and launching point for the events of the next episode. And adversary track. Leviathan track. So during Fallout, adversary track moves forward by one segment plus one additional segment for each the following that occurred during the mission. The adversary's agenda moved forward. Someone fell into eclipse. Yes, so that's one tick. And a protagonist came close to their destiny, and that's another tick. So that's 3 ticks.
Anything that brings that tier down?
No. 1, 2, 3. It adds on to the Leviathan tick there. fill in those 5 segment tiers. Fallout roll. We roll dice equal to the current readiness tier. So if somebody could roll me 2d6.
Oh, roll it. 1 and a 4.
1 and a 4. Let's go to that Fallout. So we are in tier 1. So I think that there will be that evaluation that will come down from the bishop that will say to Manon, reassign everyone's engines back to their original configuration.
Well,
everybody can erase all the stress from their track, except unless you're in eclipse. Erase any unspent links, and reset your transcendent tracks and armor uses. Protagonists who are in eclipse do not erase stress or reset their armor. Investigation track, which is the readiness track, will drop to half. So it goes down to there. And we passed into the and the last bastion track reduces by 1. Sorry, I'm going through all of the steps that we have to go through. Got the advancement. Okay, now we go to advancement. You get XP.
okay. Do we do the series XP first, since that's on this page?
We can do that first. Along with individual characters, series XP, which is earned by the group and recorded in the series playset. Gain weight, same way as X series XP. Series advances represent power and abilities. So series rules, series XP. You successfully carried out a mission, correct? So that's
Yes.
1.
Yep.
Put one in.
I don't. Ooh.
I think I struggled with my place in the world.
Yeah, I think I'll give another 1 for that. So that's another 1. And I think that kind of rolls into the reveal thing
I don't
there.
think we got anything new on
that.
that.
Express the essential nature, origin, or destiny of the group.
Yeah.
In what
Actually,
way?
yeah.
Tell me.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of ironic hammering of Tav and his moral decisions.
Okay, yeah. Let's give you that final piece there, which will reset that XP track, and you may take a series advance. So look at the series abilities. This is decided on by a group. Esprit de corps, gain +1 die when you roll Sun or help a friend recover. Sync ratio, when you receive an assist and your action succeeds, you get declare a stress. Oh, when you use a link to help an ally, they gain 2 dice instead of 1.
That's nice.
High alert, you get an additional downtime action. To distribute among its members equal to the current Leviathan's tier, so that'd be 2 additional actions right now. These can only be used to make preparations, so to make links.
It's not a bad one.
That'd be readiness preparations.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
readiness
yeah.
is what it would be for, but that's
Yeah,
good because
yeah.
it's two built-in readiness things. So
Mhm.
that means more that we could do links with to
Which we
support
were
each other. Or with our
sorely
engine.
lacking on this stuff.
Yes, we
Yeah.
sorely were.
When your mission
They're all
protects
good.
someone or something important, you get a die to +1 of the engagement roll. And you get XP for the series if no innocents are harmed. And then on borrowed time during downtime, you may remove one segment from the readiness track after a roll to improve the result level by 1 step.
Huh.
It cannot be used to make preparations. What do y'all
Interesting.
think?
We could also choose transcendent abilities as well.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah, there's some of those.
Heavy gear where all of our armor just stops level 3 or lower. Or eject when you suffer level 4 harm while transcended. Choose to not take harm, instead immediately end your transcendence.
Cool.
Things go poorly.
But they only happen when we're in transcendence, whereas these other ones happen all
Yes.
the time. So I think sync ratio or high alert sounds really delicious.
Yeah, I think both of those are the real. Yeah, I think
And
those are the
these-
two hot ones
Ethan,
myself.
what do you
Core.
think? We haven't heard from you yet.
Yeah.
I mean, +2 die from spending a link seems really useful. Yeah, I mean, I would favor that one, but
As
it's not
well,
very interesting, but it's
yeah.
useful.
It also allows you to clear stress when you assist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know, we've been doing a lot of link stuff. I think it fits with it. But yeah, having a sync ratio and having a Zavi, the two together, I mean, that's really good.
So we'll say sync ratio if that's okay with everybody. We'll put that
Yeah,
down.
and maybe go with high alert next time, just so we can all have more links with Zavi.
Well,
Just gonna go completely unprepared. All we have is links.
Well,
It's our
and
entire
best
soon-
pals.
and soon Zavi may hero up, and then that goes away.
So Manon, let's check your XP questions here, shall we?
Okay, sure. Let's see here.
You address a challenge with kindness or self-sacrifice.
I did jump in front of the security bot.
Okay. Give you a point
So-
for that.
Thank you. I will take it.
You express your beliefs, drives, roles, or background, and consider also that this carries over to last time
Okay.
when we played and you did a lot more RP last
Yeah,
session.
the team, I think my team exercise was very Manon, with essentially that we all did the swap, and she was sort of very, like, she didn't want to single out Tav and Zavi, or Tav and and Zavi for the thing. So she had all of us do it and then talk about it and that sort of thing. So
Give you an XP for that.
Yep.
You struggle with issues from your promises or obligation.
let's see here. My obligation is a team leader. I mean, it did feel like I struggled with that just because it's
Did anybody push back on it?
no, it just felt weird at that point.
I think
So
feeling
that was
weird is
one-
not struggling.
I don't know. I'm not used to feeling weird, but okay, that's fine. And then the other
Well,
one.
I mean, I pushed back on your leadership last time with
Oh
you
yeah, you
bringing
got
Sia.
super mad at me about Sia.
Superman. Okay, yeah, I'll give you a point for that.
Okay. And then for my
I don't think you
promises?
embodied your eclipse or displayed the contents of your heart.
Oh, so it's just okay. So we're not talking about 2 XP, so that's cool. All right. All right, so no.
Octavius, let's look at your XP questions.
I addressed a challenge with foresight and revelation quite a bit.
I'll give you a point for that. Express your beliefs, drives, role, or background. Yes.
Yes.
Struggled with issues from your promises or obligation. Another point for that.
Yeah.
You embodied your eclipse or displayed the contents of your heart. I don't think you did yet, but I think you are set up to do that for next time. Does that sound right?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I would argue, did I not do enough of my addressing with foresight and revelation for a 2 XP?
So what would be the allot for that? Tell me.
I went in and did my investigate because of the information that you get that of the place before. I used my foresight in with the our revelation, I suppose would be more appropriate, in with going gangbusters forward with against myself.
Sure, I'll give you that.
Thank you.
I've been watching a little too much Taskmaster, so I was going to say no.
I know you've been hard on these 2 XPers.
Nope, not even considering it. Yep.
Nope. Radiant. What are yours?
Addressed a challenge with mystery or ostentatious action.
I think we have mystery there. I think there's certain a mucking around that was interesting. So I'll give you a point for that. Did you express your beliefs, drives, role, or background?
Yeah, especially last time there was the whole like negotiation stuff between Sia and Radiant trying to figure out how to live with each other.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you 2 points for that one, I think. Did you struggle with issues for your promises or your obligation?
I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
my obligation was unpleasant, but your obligation is unpleasant. So
You didn't embody your eclipse. Did you display the contents of your heart?
I think so. Again, like Radiant took sort of a stand for himself of like, I'm not just going to live in the world of your trauma. You have to give me something else to live for as well.
I think that's fair. So I'll give you a point for that. And Zavi, let's come to you.
Yep.
Did you address a challenge with compassion or honesty?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay. Did you express?
I'm gonna say that maybe you did when Manon asked you about using or using a different engine than the other one. You were like, no, wasn't much different.
Well, I mean, that was specifically not honesty.
Was it? Oh, okay.
That was meant to be a lie.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was a terrible truth. There, you know.
You expressed your beliefs, drives, role, background. I actually think that's the 2 points. Is you did a lot of that last time in this one.
Yeah, I think so.
Did you struggle with issues from your promises or obligation?
No, I don't think I really did anything with the.
Not yet. How did you embody your eclipse?
Aside from like just basically diving into the pool of disembodied souls.
Yeah,
that was pretty much it.
I think Midnight at the Well of Souls is fair. We'll give you a point for that. Let's take 5, quick bio break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the setup for the next time and probably do that sort of first unpleasant, painful phase there. So take 5 and we'll be back. So before we kind of go to like the next phase and rolling for the stress that you all have and so on, let's do a little bit of a like, what do we see on the ship? What's kind of the fallout from this? Like, what are you telling people about what happened? That kind of thing. And I think I actually want to start with Octavius. Like, it's very clear you have some information there. Who do you share that with? What do you say?
Uh, did I hear? I just want to kind of clarify that. I
Yeah.
was up. Did I hear? I don't know if I was there to hear that figure speak to Radiant and say it was all for you. Did I
Oh,
hear
yeah,
that?
you were right there.
Patrick, would it make sense that I'm starting to get weird suspicions about Radiance and Sia?
Sure. I mean, we've had a whole season before this sort of thing.
Okay. I think I'm going to try and find Sia.
Yeah. Do you want to be found by Octavius? And if so, where do you find, or does Octavius find Radiant, or where do they find you?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah. I think maybe working on Lyra in the engine phase.
Um, Sia, do you have a minute?
Oh, yes, sir. Is there something you need with your engines?
This is informal. Remember we talked about that. No, sir, none of that. I want to talk to you.
Oh, all right. Is there something I can help you with?
Maybe. Um, you. I didn't see you get out. Radiant said he sent you back up.
Yes, I couldn't stay there.
Well, as long as you got out safe, I, I was worried.
That's, you shouldn't be worried about me. I mean, I'm the one that I ran away and abandoned the rest of you.
You you took cover in a situation that was smart to do. You got to make. You probably shouldn't have even been forced to be down there in the first place. You.
I shouldn't be here at all.
What do you mean?
This isn't. I'm not made for this sort of thing. I can't do this, and the more I'm here, I keep messing things up, and things are gonna go wrong because of me.
I reach out and I grab, take your hand. They don't. That doesn't have to happen. No, no, you are very important. All that you do, and you're very important to me.
I'm just I'm just an extra mechanic on the ship. I'm not what the flagship needs. I'm not what the Bastion needs.
That thing, I don't know. Maybe you heard folks talking about what we saw there. Um, what if I told you I know who that was?
The the thing in the water?
That that figure that caused all that.
You found out something about it?
I know something about him. He didn't mean for all of that to happen. And I want to make what he sacrificed worthwhile.
Is there anything that can make that much pain worthwhile?
Ashton, I hope so. But part of it is that you should believe you are really necessary for what's going on here. Everything you do is helping, and there's no reason to feel like, you're not integral to the flagship, and that you're important to me.
We're down to the end. We're down to the last of everything, basically. Do we even have time to think about things like what I want? I came here because it's what I thought I wanted, but I'm taking up space that other people should be using better. I'm the wrong one to be here. I just feel like I'm the wrong one to be living my life.
I see something different. I see something so much more. I believe this is exactly where you're meant to be.
I actually think I want to cut there. Zavi, what do we see of you in Eclipse after this mission? How does that change how you act when we get back to the vessel?
I think normally I'm like, the joking around, trying to lighten the mood. And I'm not even bothering this time. Like, I think it has really, like, I think I have always believed that me getting sent here was a death sentence. And now it like has really sunk in that, for a little while I had some doubts, like, oh, maybe it's not like, maybe I'll survive this, maybe I'll get through this. No. I think I have had all of those little inklings of hope just dashed, and like, no, I am not cut out for this. I'm going to get myself and everyone else killed, and nobody will believe me. Like they just keep insisting, no, there has to be a warm body that is better suited for this than I am. And I cannot believe that I ever thought this was a good idea when I was, 16 or whatever. Like, um, so I think that, hmm, oh, you know what? I get back in Charon, and like, well, I'm gonna die out here. I might as well make myself as much of a weapon as possible. I'm gonna get into practice.
I'm glad that you are coming around. But you seem a little on edge. I need you to be calm, and we will hone you into an instrument of death.
Yeah, okay. 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 Uh I don't know why I find something agreeing with my most, it's actually really nice to not have someone arguing with me and saying that I'm going to survive this. Uh
I will never tell you that you're going to make it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Manon.
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. Manon, what is we see you in the aftermath of this mission with your broken weapon, your broken friends?
I think there's that thing of she gets out of her engine and they all like vamoose immediately. And so she goes back to the transport to get the kids out. And she's all by herself. Um, and so she leads the survivor.
That sparkly man, he just ran away when we got here.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, we can go and find him later if you would like.
He was very, and one of the girls says, self-confident. That's what my mother called it. Very self-confident.
Your mother had a very good vocabulary. That's exactly right. I can't figure Radiant out. That's his name, Radiant.
That's not a real name.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And she'll sort of go, well, my name is Manon, and why don't you tell me your names?
And how many of them are there?
Let's say there's 7, because that's the only lucky thing on the ship at this
Okay.
point. So
all right.
There you go.
They've got their little kind of like colony scout uniforms with the like respirators and things like that. And they're all dressed in, and of course they've never been on a ship like this, so they're fascinated by it. And I like to imagine that there is a moment as you are coming down the corridor with this group of children that you see Torin kind of walking this way, and he sees you, and he's kind of does that first. He gets that little cocksure, like I'm a K-pop star kind of thing, but then he starts to see that you have kids with you, and his face changes to almost kind of like a look of horror, and he moves kind of to the side of the corridor, away from you in this gaggle of children.
Okay. And I think I will have put them into like essentially the gaggle of children formation, which is where I'm holding the hands of 2 of them and they're holding the hands of 2 of them, they're holding the hands of another person until I've got like 3 of them on one side, 4 on the other, and we're kind of going down and I'm giving them the tour. And as we go by Tor, who's standing over there, say hello to the nice man.
Keeps his hands back. You can tell he is very clearly afraid that they're going to touch him with their grubby little kid fingers.
Really?
Yeah.
And she smiles at him beneficently. So
the at some point you will, after you've shown them around a bit, Cora will pop up. Will say, well, look at these little darlings. They look good enough to eat.
They haven't eaten yet.
We'll feed them. The bishop saw these children on the monitors and sent me down to see what needs to be done with them.
Well, I assume that we will be finding them some quarters meantime, but I thought I would take them down to the mess and get a little something to eat, something warm.
Absolutely. And she'll dial up and send some extra creds for the food bay your way. And she'll say, we're heading back to the Bastion, so we'll transfer them when they get there. You might want to prepare them.
All right. And she sort of stops. She gets a very serious look on her face. And she's like, yes, I will do that.
Yeah, and you will get the kids together and you will feed them, and they seem like they're trying to forget what has happened to them, and they're kind of still in shock. And you know that in a couple of days they're going to have to start listening to the God.
I know. So I think she goes, glad that you could come with me here. But they're going to take you to the place where all the other people are. We are only the ones who fight. Everyone here, they're the ones who fight.
One of them says, I want to fight.
Mm,
I want to be like you. I want to be like Radiant.
glowy.
Well, yeah, but a fighter.
Those sorts of things, no matter what you want to be, you have to learn how to pray for them. Do you know how to do that? All right. She goes, one of the things, and she will begin, like, it's like a children's story, like a fairy tale.
So
But
we get
it's
kind of a fairy tale retelling of what has gone on. Maybe we get
exactly.
an interesting anime overlay on screen of that. Okay.
And it is kind of almost like you get the feeling, because it is also very like inlaid with gold and has all of that sort of Renaissance, religious like look to it and stuff,
Yeah.
along with hagiography and so there is that sort of thing of, this is very much what she was raised with in the cathedral. So she tells the story. She's really good at telling it with that cadence of a grand story, of a story that's very significant.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of, during that meal, is the first time that for each of them, she gives them that piece of significance that they have as their individual. She asks them what they want to do, what they want to be. And she goes, some people will be good at being fighters, some will be healers, some will know how to fix the machines, some will know how to take care of other people. And so, and just have to, and then when they kind of say what they want to do, she will sort of, like with almost a mini ritual, hand that back to them and teach them a prayer for it.
Right.
She goes, this is the first prayer of yourself. She goes, we'll practice tomorrow, okay? And it's very much that sort of thing where she's sort of trying to give them in the least scary way that little thing that they can hold on to when the goddess emotions are rolling over them.
Okay. Patrick, do you want to call a scene here before we move on to obligation phase? See you with Radiant, or Radiant with someone, or see you with someone? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just in like Sia's room, and it's the days after this where he's spending a lot of time by himself and like calling in sick for his shifts. And I think he's drawing and thinking he's drawing like these faces and these lost souls in this water and the sort of like horror of this planet. And as he like gets these images down and sort of like crystallizes a moment on the page, he'll rip it out and he gives it to Radiant to take away from him so that he doesn't have to think about it anymore. He doesn't have to remember it anymore. But like none of these pieces come out cleanly. And there's like holes and pieces of himself that he's giving away in the process of trying to forget these things that he doesn't want to remember.
Nice. And the ship will return to the Bastion and actually lands, and we will see you all like you have a 5-day layover change over here at the Bastion while they get the kids settled and while everything goes on as they prepare for the next mission. And we're going to roll obligation. So what is your lowest attribute, Tav?
I'm now 2s across the board.
No, it looks like you just have 1 in Moon, right?
Oh, hang on. Did I not take up my... Oh, I'm in the process of... Oh, no, you're right. That one's a transcendent one. You're right.
Okay.
So
let's have you roll. And transcendent doesn't affect attributes. So if the moon is rolled, your obligation is going to affect your heart and drive you to despair. Why don't you roll me a d6?
Right. A 2.
So you will mark 4 stress.
I've marked 4 stress every time.
I think that Calliope comes to you. And she says, I had a really strange experience, vision, while you were on the planet.
What did you see?
I mean, I appreciate what you're doing. I really do. Like you've explained it to me, and I appreciate it. But I saw my brother again, as I remembered him, and he was back. So maybe when you've fixed everything, you'll go back to your time, and he'll be back here with me again.
Maybe. Maybe. I have the feeling he's not completely gone. And maybe if I can fix it, I could fix him too.
I hope so.
I promise
it gives
you, I'll
me
do anything I can.
No, I don't. I know you have a greater mission. I'm just glad that you gave me hope. I have to get ready and take my dose of drugs before we go on to Bastion. It's always hard on me.
Yeah. We should definitely hang out more.
Okay. Manon, what is your lowest attribute? You're muted, by the way.
I have so much to choose from, sun or moon. Probably the one that's more emotional.
Okay, so that's Moon. Obligation breaks your heart, drives you to despair.
I know, because I'm escorting some children onto Bastion. So I think it seems appropriate, hopefully. Awesome. So 1d6. Oh, a 3, yes.
So mark 3 stress.
All right.
And I do think it is the fact that when you get there, the kids are having a hard time with it. And nobody wants to take the kids. Like there's this tension of people are glad that there are survivors. They're pleased with that. But there's also like a sense of whose responsibility are there? Where do we shift these off to? Where do they go? That kind of thing. And I think you find yourself like you're used to the church where you come from, like this would be the kind of thing they would just take them in.
Mhm.
But there's a very different atmosphere here. And you find yourself, I think, throughout this navigating that to get the kids to some place where they can be reasonably safe
Yeah.
and cared for.
Yeah, and I think that is that I navigate to what's left of the church folk there, and then I probably trade on what I have of my celebrity, if that makes any sense. I
Mhm.
mean, to the extent of actually like transcending when I'm talking to them. And, you know, and speaking of that beneficence, I and as we're waiting patiently, telling the children the stories again, so that they are all as guilted as possible. It's just so angry.
Who of the NPCs, existing or new, comes to help you out?
Oh, you think I expected the bishop, but it wasn't. It was Cora, and Cora and I are.
Even as she's helping you, she is needling you
I know.
quietly.
Yeah.
But she will help you get those kids someplace where you don't have to worry about them. Sia, Radiant, what do you roll with?
I had the same choice between sun and moon.
Physically taxing, circumstances, scary, or break your heart drives you to despair?
Yeah, I think Sia's sort of despairy right now.
Okay. So roll with moon.
And I've updated my obligation because it was the very generic sort of like mechanic thing.
Uh-huh.
And I have it right now as living 2 lives inside the same body.
Okay. So rolling 1 die.
That's a 6.
That is a 6. I think that you keep yourself together. I think it's primarily because you have to focus on keeping the god down because you've already got 2 voices in your head. And I imagine where there would have maybe been some like emotional trauma and things like that. We may see that next time with the downtime actions, but I think you are keeping yourself that kind of solid level. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, I think there's like some engineering areas and sort of back tunnel areas that are a bit more shielded from the emotion waves, and he's spending a lot of time like hiding back there to try and get some respite from it.
I like it. I like it. And Zavi, what is your lowest?
Sun.
Sun. So why don't you roll me a d6?
5.
5.
Yep.
So you get to clear another check on your stress track. What aren't you scared of that you were before? Even a little thing.
I think actually plugging into an engine, that like merging of consciousness just absolutely always creeped me out. And now, like, yeah, it's a thing I gotta do. It's kind of unpleasant.
Yeah. You will find yourself doing that, being willing to make that connection. And your engine, Charon, is very happy with it. So I think at the end of this, before we move into downtime actions and things like that, there is a call. Some of the high command will bring you down. There's been some talk and things like that. And they bring you down, they bring the other team down, they bring some other forces down, and they will say, the Bastion is still recovering from its last jump. It's going to be a bit before we can move. However, we have signals from out of system that indicate that one of the carrier ships that we thought was completely destroyed may be intact, including, we believe, based on the signal profile, at least one engine. We're going to be equipping you with the additional warp drive capacity, and you're going to be taking the Bellerophon to the Muramasa system. It's vital that we recover those engines. While you are gone, the last bastion will be relatively undefended. So we need you to make this count. And that's where we're going to end for today, and where we're going to take up next time. Woo! Those dice did not like you guys. Not at all. Tyler, Octavius, stars and wishes.
This was really cool. Very intense, very neat. I thought everybody got to do interesting, fun stuff. It was cool to see it eclipse, and Ethan, it was neat to see how you're personifying that. It's really cool. I've that was nice. Sherry, I enjoy you as our leader. There's a real backbone to Manon that I don't think anyone else could lead this group. I don't think it's possible. And Patrick, I am enjoying the duality of Sia Radiant. I'm enjoying the awkwardness of dancing around our relationship. It was fun to see us in a group trying to deal with something and getting our ass kicked, and how we responded to getting our ass kicked. And I suppose I'll probably end on with my stars. Thought it was really sweet, man, and with the children. I thought that was really nice. Wishes. This system's strange. And I'm processing a little of how it's laid out. These abilities, some seem like you're going to use them a whole bunch, and some seem like they're very much downtimey or more non-missiony, and they limit what you're doing out of missions so much that I'm just wondering how they're stacked. But that's just a more of an observation. My wishes would be that hey, I think it's going to be awesome to see a new engine. So I am kind of looking forward to that, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing Zavi's progression towards if we're going to make that hero thing, what we want to do when when you feel that moment, but kind of seeing that progression excites me. So there we go.
Well, Zavi may not progress unless somebody steps in and pulls him out of that eclipse.
Yeah, we've got to
Just keep
get
that
that.
in mind. We are 5 ticks away from there being no Zavi.
Yeah.
Manon.
I I enjoy that this story is pulling me in all different directions. Um, as as a person who has a strong sense of what it is to be a good person and is trying to figure out how to be a good leader, this is a challenging batch, a challenging batch. So there's and but I'm really liking it. And the whole thing with the kids was sort of a nice thing. I wanted that to be sort of a reflection of how she looks back and thinks her childhood was like. I don't know if it was. I think she probably romanticized it a good deal. But it is and that's what, when I broke the staff, that was what I was sort of going for, is
Mhm.
that there's a whole parts of her past that she doesn't recall particularly well, probably for a good reason. And But I do like everyone else's play. Tyler, you raked yourself over the coals. Good. And Sia Radiant does that nice, completely oblivious to what other people are talking about or mean, and inscrutable to us as well. It's great. It's a good combo. So hopefully they'll figure each other out. And Zavi, you break my heart all the time when these things happen, and it is going to be trying to find that time when I say when we can step in and be helpful. It is a hard thing, so I am watching closely for that opportunity. And if let's see here, what I am, and Lowell, you're the meanest. Yes, there, that's it. Um, I'm in that weird fugue state with the system where there's like a bunch of things that I like about it and a bunch of things like I'm like, but where's the dial that you use to do this with? And I haven't found all the things that I kind of think I ought to have access to. So I'm going to have to sit down and read the book close, I think.
It definitely wants you to be teens. You know how masks like kind of hobbles you with certain basic moves, like there's some things there. It does feel to me like there's some things happening here in the game that are deliberately to kind of create those limitations. I don't think they're as maybe explicit as they are in masks.
Yeah, where masks, so you are a teen, and I
Yeah.
think that's probably true. That's part of why it's like, oh, okay. So
Wishes.
wishes. Think I think what I want to do is I'm hoping that we can do another round of the stab at teamwork. That makes anything,
Yeah.
and have it succeed in some ways and fail in others, that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that being every kind of round of this we do, there's another stab at it.
Okay.
Maybe we get some things right, maybe we don't.
Yeah.
So
Do that in between the downtime rounds. That seems
exactly.
fair. Okay. Sia Radiant.
This was cool and tragic and awful. Like the whole melted world of death where Octavius's, other self, and the horrible decisions, and the costs and the downsides of that time traveler playbook, I thought were played out really well in this story. It was very nice. And in that, Tyler, I thought you responded to your other self very well, and thank you for letting me just be awful to you in the obliviousness of my character. um Ethan, it was I feel like everyone's in sort of a dark place character wise, but it was also really strong to see Xavi like just getting beaten down and worn down and sort of taken to a very low point, not because that's fun in and of itself, but because like ideally that birth of a hero storyline will start to take you in the other direction from that. It's nice to have that darkness for you to rise out of, and I do hope that we can start pushing towards that story for Zabi. And Sherry, I think it continues to be interesting to see Manon struggle with like how she's dealing with leadership and how she views herself, and I see almost a kinship there between Sia and Manon in this like persona that she has crafted for herself, that she's trying to live inside and live up to as well. Wishes, I'm excited that we're going for one of the tier 2 missions. I think going after a lost engine is super cool idea. I can't wait to see what that is like. And potentially controversially, I will say I would like to see a mission push us further, because we had a lot of bad rolls on this one, which is its own sort of painful. But like even with our limited resources going into this one, it didn't push on our resources that hard. And there's a bit of the mechanics in this game and a lot of the like feel and fiction of this game that feels like it wants to live in that extremity, like the disaster, everything is falling apart, it's just about to all give out, is sort of the emotional state that a lot of this feels like it lives in. And similar to other people, like I don't feel like I'm quite sensing the narrative pacing of this game
Your wish is my command.
yet.
Zafi.
Yeah. So stars to Sherry for the whole thing with the kids, because it was a cool way to tie Manon's past of like being raised in the church. This is what the church does. Like this is what, like, it was a connection to her past, where I think any of the other characters, if left to take care of the kids, it would have just been reluctant. Yeah, I guess I got to do this. Fine, come on. With Manon, it didn't seem reluctant at all. It's just like, well, that's what I do. That's what where I'm from. That's what you do. So I like that. I thought it was a cool touch that she like, and then immediately went to people left over from the cathedral, like, because that's the people who handle it, and she is from the cathedral, so she's the one who handles it. Also, I liked seeing very briefly, kind of, the dice were not cooperative, I know, Sia actually get to be competent, or almost. it was the dice's fault. It wasn't Sia's fault. It wasn't
I tried
Patrick's
so
fault. Like,
hard.
yeah.
I had some good Sia descriptions than, Dice.
I would have liked to see Sia get to be competent more. But the dice did not have that. Did not have the same intention. But I do like. I like seeing Sia get to be useful because I think that's a thing that is very like. I think it's very easy for him to just be a burden on Radiant all the time and on the ship all the time, and he probably thinks of himself that way. I was like, we saw that one scene, but like at the same time, even the person who doesn't belong there at all knows how to do something.
Mhm.
So it was nice to see him try at least.
I like that.
And yeah, the whole thing, stars for twisting the knife with the sister at the end of top.
Yeah.
You really shouldn't encourage him, Ethan. Really shouldn't.
Anything wishes wise?
Um no, nothing really comes to
Okay.
mind.
So I'll talk a meta a little bit here. Definitely one of the things that Patrick had asked for, I think last time, was Bastion scenes. So I definitely want to spend like the downtime scenes. We're gonna get beyond Bastion. We're gonna see what the toll of the war has been on there. That's one of my goals is, and I think hopefully that will also play into something that you said today, so that we can play into that. One of my other meta things I think we'll have, and I am kind of putting this in, is that the other team has to stay behind. Someone has to stay behind to watch Bastion, even though effectively they will be, relatively undefended because you're going to be going. But I think what I want to have is that, if you find another engine, you need someone who can pilot it. And so I think, so that we kind of link into Zavi's story, I think you have to take Soren with some maybe implants or upgrades or medications to allow him to just fly it if you find one. Just to kind of maybe, because we've had kind of a story that focused on Manon, Tyler's backstory. Maybe we'll kind of link into that, maybe explore that a little bit. So that's sort of my idea. We'll see if that's how it rolls out. It may not, but that's my goal for that. So all right, I am going to stop the recording.